three cams going. Alright, three cams. Cam 1 checking. Recording. Yeah, appears to be good. Offline 2 cam. Recording status appears to be good. And hacked Department of Defense version Android Galaxy cell phone, which I use primarily over my even more hacked brand new iPhone 11. So I'm doing this as part of my curtain call series. And I'm doing it in the spirit of karmic yoga. That is, I don't think this video will ever get displayed unless I survive and it's displayed without context. But I'm past the point of any concern about humiliation. They've stripped me of all my dignity. I have very little pride to begin with, not in a negative way, but I'm okay with I want people to not just see the shocking attacks, the terror, and the cruelty, but I'm nearing what's likely towards the last chance I'll have to kind of give some closing remarks. It's late. It's not that late, but it's late for me, and I have a bad headache, and I have to secure my media and stuff before I can go to sleep. The status of right now, I've acknowledged to people as I accomplished it some time ago that these guys have shown they can pretty much shake down anything that's stored on it. They have master control of everything. My Google, every account, my Google account, my bank account. Everything's on their networks, on their hacked devices. They're break-in teams. I mean, sometimes they break it more than once a week. They're not even trying to hide it. Let me start with running my big mouth real quick, and since the only people likely to see this are my assassins, a special shout out to Booz Allen Hamilton, who I, if it survives, have recorded in my PCAT files on this phone from one of the many factory resets, and there's several archives. Special shout out to my assassins, Booz Allen Hamilton. These are all people I've confirmed. Booz Allen Hamilton has been confirmed. They are heavily reliant on the Department of Defense Network Information Center, the non-classified part of the network, I believe, but certainly everything, there are countless streams going to the Department of Defense, the United States Department of Defense. So at best, these are, well, like I said, Booz Allen Hamilton, one of their big domestic, what has historically been a spy agency. I'm I have no idea what footage will survive, if any footage will survive. I do this as I prepare for my sentence of death or worse that I got when I saw their server list after surviving the initial 4 or 5 months of brutality. But yes, let me finish my special shout out here. Booz Allen Hamilton operating malware on my the game mode malware on one of my versions of the S8 that triggered the second massive wave of attacks that have not ceased to this day and are growing in intensity. Another shout out to Time Warner Cable, their subsidiary Shelcom, or their Veil Spectrum, Time Warner. They have a enterprise account controlling my right now. It's unplugged, although and I verified once again the videos maker. They don't take my word for it or not. I verified that there is a number or that there is an enterprise account on my that's controlling my residential connection. They use VPLS.com. I caught them hosting, assigning me a VPLS.com IP. They have a facility with Time Warner has a facility that's unlisted. Google, if you try to find it, will have a little thing saying some results have been omitted. But it's on Agora Road and here in I think that's Agora line here in Los Angeles, and it's I think north. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I want to say it's southeast on kind of right on coming up on the corner of. Ooh, is it Linode? It's like I tried to stop by and visit it real early in the attack, but it's I can tell you is it's by the big massive Bank of America complex there, and I went out. I parked at I think a college across the street, but I didn't want to have my track phone with GPS to find the specific location. But the place is just a maze of office buildings. I wandered around the Bank of America campus. I wandered around. I could not find the building, but they did confirm. They first they confirmed it, then they put me on the line with some high-level security executive that identified as Bill. Most likely one of the contractors. He was very playful. I wasn't recording at that time as I made the mistake of trying to initially resolve this in good faith, and obviously you start introducing video recorders and stuff, then you're becoming rather formal. But he tried telling me we don't have a building there, and I said, Bill, I'm sitting in front of me looking at a property deed. I think it was Time Warner Pacific Holdings there at that location. And he goes, "Oh yeah. I think we have something there. Yeah." I said, "And why am I on a VPLS.com server? Because the hackers left a nonsense calling card saying they were Chinese hackers from Beijing who have wired my house and have rogue access point and either a hacker RF or a late model Stingray, a 4G Stingray. But I think it's just radio hacking. But it's got at least a solid 2-mile coverage. at minimum. And then my phone, using software-defined networking, my phone and my car bring their own attack networks. So Time Warner specific, the company owned by, they seem to be, the primary owners seem to be dual citizens of here in China. And they have all the exact, at the time I was fumbling trying to learn Windows. Now I've learned most every version of Linux, and I'm even working with Unix and learning coding and so forth. But at the time, I noticed, I just knew I wasn't looking at real Windows, and obviously nothing was working right. So, but I don't want to digress too much. But VPLS.com was Time Warner actually. See, now Time Warner assigns me bad addresses under their name, but then when you run the traces and the reverses and everything, it's either Linode, Cloudflare. Everything's on a content delivery network. I'm censored. My internet's censored far more than the average Chinese citizen. Once again, the attack launched on March 6th. I know I'm all over the place. I'm coming a year and a half or so, and of constant psychological abuse. They destroyed all my equipment. I used to work, all my computers, my cameras. These are all most recent purchases. Bought a damn iPhone, and I knew all I was getting was proof that these guys could instantly break an iPhone, because I believe they have jurisdiction. So VPLS.com, you can find them. Ted something is the president, and I tied them to a company who was, I think their server was, they were the company that had the server associated, was the Federal Group LLC of California, owned by Tony Liu and his wife something Liu. Once again, all the records are there in my massive stockpiles of backups of forensics, including on this phone at the moment. But once again, at the very least, this phone, like so many of they have root control. Everything, all my accounts can be deleted instantly. Every phone can be deleted instantly, and they've done such things in the past. Now they're okay, so let me finish the special shout out list. So VPLS.com, I really don't want to stoop to playing into the America media industrial complex beating its war drums against China, but to China and the rest of America. They attacked, and I mean, they would get me going at times. They still will, occasionally throw Chinese servers in there, but I think it was baloney, because I pissed off a lot of people, activists, and so forth. See my documentary from 2013 on YouTube. I'm sure it'll be pulled. I know it's been getting down. Voted, and it's very hard to find videos from my real estate brokerage of a $600 a month rental rank way above it, but whatever, YouTube and Google. VPLS.com, who is given control of my connection, what it is they see, if you don't understand advanced technology. I did a year and a half now, crash course on this dark world they operated in. Grueling. I'm a sick person. I don't date. I'm autistic. I have an autoimmune disorder. I have bipolar 2. But I do learn very well. And you can see my business and academic records too. And if anyone that knows me cares to comment, I'm a good learner. And I'm when my health's intact. And at the moment, it's holding together. But I'm it's wearing on me, and I'm doing these because, like I said, I can feel the devil, and I say that mostly metaphorically. But let me finish the shout out list here. So VPLS was the Chinese front, and so it's called the Department of Defense uses the term false flag operation. In this case, literally a false flag. These are all U.S. Heavy hitters. I'll continue the list. There are Chinese hackers, and they are most of them have houses in both China and within 15 minutes, 2 hours of me. So VPLS, their subsidiary Cryptid, or Crypt, like grave, something or another. Yeah, dark as it sounds. And I linked them to the Federal Group LLC of California. So it was the feds. I made a joke, but at the time it was a joke. Okay, whatever. Finish the shout list. So Tony Liu. I also then linked, oh God, whose company? To a Delaware corporation. I paid people think if you buy a Delaware corporation, like you're anonymous. No, you pay Delaware something like $20, and then you get the name of the corporation that owns the Delaware corporation. And then you can go to that state records and get the owners. So it was traced to it. I have all this documented, whether or not they'll ever see the light day on it. But I traced them to what was obviously a fake company in China that when I looked into was linked to the Panama paper links. You can, or the Panama paper leaks. You can look that up. But they're I don't know what the term for them are, but they're essentially DoD contractors that, in my case, were used to their strategy is deception is all the rage in the private and public government sector in regards to cyber warfare. The idea is it's supposed to be a covert operation, meaning the victim is supposed to know they're being attacked and that they're, everything, according to the DoD's 2018 strategy guide, make it clear that everything they hold dear is in jeopardy, keep them so busy just trying to maintain their basics, like canceling my health care. I didn't have access to health care. I've been hospitalized 4 times. I almost lost my eye because they're breaking. And they've granted it's hacking back and through persistent engagement, defending forward. Basically, and it's largely presented as this is our approach for dealing with China and Iran and so forth, Russia. But in the clause, from what I could read, it seemed very implicit that U.S. citizens were fair game to it, and basically it was a catch-all, death by 1,000 acts. Wait, I just lost the video. Let's see here. This one ran out of footage, I believe, right? Let me see here. Or timed out. Okay, right now it's recording. this is recording, but it's filling up quick. I'm gonna hope that's recording. I'm not sure why the video cut. It might be running out of battery or memory. Okay. And I'm not gonna have the energy to continue this. VPLS, they're tied to it. So they're American VPLS.com, the Federal Group LLC, that it's technically registered as a computer repair shop. They're accountants. The computer repair shop, from what I can tell, doesn't exist. There's no advertising. It's a front. They're linked to organized crime, or in the politically correct dark world of U.S. cybercom and its orgy with private corporations. They are what are called downstream contractors. The big guys like Booz Allen Hamilton, VPLS, Time Warner, Sprint, lease out the actual connection to a DoD certified contractor. The contractor who self-audits. They don't get audited by the government. They're on the honor system, privatized law enforcement, federal law enforcement, operating on the honor system, and they have the ability to disruptively or persistently engage, terrorize. It's terror. I live in terror. My life has been my parents, anyone that has known me for a long time knows this is terrorism. And I no longer use the term cyber terrorism, because when you're not even trying to find the fact that you're breaking in all the time and you're sending a message or you're having me followed, no, just terrorism. So I'm done with the word cyber terrorism. And they don't give a fuck, because they're above the law. They've proved it. I've bought a burner called the FBI. It's sitting in my bag right now with the number from March of 2019. 28 minutes into the talk, they declined investigation. Sheriff's Department called pretty shortly after they knocked out all my devices. They won't give me the body cam, but the venture, they did confirm it was running on one of the officers, who was very rude. After witnessing a cyber attack, they said they agreed, yes, that's an attack, but the sheriff's office, quote unquote, doesn't deal with cyber terrorism. That's the FBI. Well, gentlemen, I don't have any communication. I'm new to the area. I don't even use my phone as a GPS. Would you pass on your observations? You witnessed someone has hardware in my proximity. My stuff is unconnected. You just watched a WPA attack on my phone. No, we're not legally allowed to investigate or initiate investigation. I don't have internet access. I can't verify that. It's false. I looked into filing a color of law with them, and a very nice internal affairs. They put me with a very nice high-ranking internal affairs officer, and she said she wasn't discouraging me from filing a color of law, but really, it would be an FBI thing, who declined and told me to go fill out their online spam form. By the way, I've documented with their CDN network, I don't go to the real FBI website. So if I did fill out the form, and at the time I didn't even have internet, I had I still have my Florida driver's license. So, and as soon as I got there and to renew my license, like I do every year, I learned I couldn't renew it because it had been 10 years of online renewals, and I had to go to Florida, so I'm undocumented. I can't. So now I can't drive. I have no internet. The few people I was getting to know, I just fall off the grid. Every device is out. I lose all my contacts, email. There are no more payphones. Well, the brutality, once again, if the videos of that don't make it, then fuck it, but whatever. So finishing, the people I've confirmed beyond any doubt and can document at this time. Although remember, they've controlled my connection. These guys I presume, I know that they had me fully under surveillance and my computers hacked, and likely my house was already wired. But I know that at the minimum, I was completely hacked and monitored since at least shortly after Kroger. And by the way, Kroger, my attorney at the Lewis Law Firm, should still be in possession of their auditing documents. They're the ones who put the initial hit on me. Kroger, the fourth largest employer, their social responsibility and food safety program is a complete scam. So they were the ones that initially put the hit on me. And it was shocking to me. A shocking experience was to read through U.S. Cybercom policy, corporate self-help, and all this stuff. There's this something memo 13 or something about cyber, this super adversarial just start hacking everyone policy that the U.S. DoD is boasting about. And mind you that I have the numbers I have, I think, are 3 or 4 years old that I've got my hands on, but as of 3 or 4 years ago, 70% of the military and U.S. Law enforcement, Homeland Security budget was going to, over 70% was going to private contractors. With the expansion of the services in 2018, that number's got to be north of 85%. And so, these private contractors get paid on average about 3 times more than the average government employee. They get all sorts of perks. And so the private contractors who are allowed to initiate cyber attacks on their own poach FBI and agents. FBI is the ones that all this is kind of supposed to funnel through, because you have now U.S. military, private sector, and all, known as the intelligence community. The private security is one of our 3 branches. Google it. One of our 3 branches of Homeland Security, and they're corporate, and corporations exist to make profit. When you have federal law enforcement incentivized by profit, taking money from the government because it all comes out of the defense fund, and no politician wants to touch the defense fund. And by the way, by the time the majority of politicians learned that NSA had been collecting everything on everyone, they realized, oh, they have all of my emails, texts, photos, personal data, etc. Basically, they got the message that do any of you think that it's possible that there's a single Congress or senator, congressman or woman or senator, or any a government official in power other than the ones that just hop between private, running, private, big private companies, and then basically working for a small fraction of the cost as the head of a government agency to make laws for, how that works. A lot of you. But anyhow, what they've done, so they have, these guys can extort and blackmail anyone. Major corporations, the intelligence community, ICS, was it ONDI, ONDI, and the was it DIA, that manages all this, all work. Now this NSA database of everything on everyone, the lower classified level information, which is all the illegitimate targets, which is 98% probably or so. The only people that out of these 875,000 plus people that don't have access to this NSA database that are excluded from it are the people who run the database or then are in that club. It's basically a corporate military coup, because no matter how much money they dump into elected officials, I think their concern will be the elected officials have to make kind of a show of trying to support the public good, but the corporations and the more sinister side or portion of the one percenters, as said, they're not budging, as far as they're not going to give up a penny of their wealth, and they are jamming through laws and regulations. They'll increase it while the middle class here in the United States diminishes and becomes non-existent. But they will maintain their lifestyle at all costs. They're not budging, and now the judiciary system in Congress. Also, they have all the emails and everything, text messages on the judge. These guys can blackmail, shake down anyone they want. They have 1,000 ways to destroy anyone's life. In my case, it was actually accidental that I didn't know my private communications were being monitored, and that I was discussing leaking the Kroger auditing fraud. Yeah, they were, and so they did a preemptive strike. And then, like I said, when I saw the list, so other special shout outs. There seems, let me just, markmonitor.com, CSC protects brands. I'm going to give them an 85% chance. They're appearing a lot. There's a lot to suggest that their services are being used, proof points being used. Special screw you to WatchGuard, firewall security company. I believe they're using basically they're as they poach these they're primarily going for the people that work in cyber and the FBI, because the FBI's got the influence. They're the kind of the middle. They're the conduit between the military, the corporations, and everything. And with their secret kangaroo FISA court, that even Trump, I'm not a supporter of any mainstream politician by any measure, but